This is probably going to be one of the very last unboxings that I do for quite some time. The environment of shipping things internationally is not conducive to the delivery of print items. And the environment of my shelving has long since reached the point where I even have space to contemplate where things are going to go. You see all the instances of things lying on top, just being jammed in. We're reaching the point where digital is becoming less of a choice, let's say. Now, I tried to go all digital in the past, totally failed. So here we are again. Anyway, this unboxing is from a company called Nightfall. I've done several unboxings from them in the past, largely dealing with their SLA Industries role-playing game. And since the resurgence, the new life in Nightfall games, they have been very busy, very ambitious, translating SLA Industries into other systems. There's currently a project afoot to release this incredible setting via Savage Worlds, which I think is a really good match. I still prefer its original expression. I enjoy its second edition expression. Not sure I'm going to get involved in a Savage Worlds version, but it's exciting. Nightfall also does licensed games like The Terminator and smaller licenses like arranging to publish Musketeers versus Cthulhu. There's lots of stuff going on. This is a game company built around a small group of people with the ability to conceive of and produce, both in art and in printed word, a very clear vision of what it is that they want to share, where they want to play, how they want to play, the types of topics and imagery and challenges that they want to present. It's a game company, I think, that knows who they are. So, not too long ago, but from another point of view, quite a while ago, back in 2024, I backed one of the Kickstarters they had available to expand the setting for SLA Industries. This includes physical items that represent things within the game world, and there are books in here. I've long since gotten the PDFs, so even though this was launched in 2024 with an expectation of delivery sometime in 25, you live in the world, you understand that things happen, so it's here now in the opening days of April of 2026 that this has arrived. Now, on the Kickstarter, they have been very clear and very regular with updates. So I have no particular complaints. I've understood the state of the project from the beginning. It has progressed in a reasonable way since launching, and it has arrived as promised. Now, one of the reasons why I like to do unboxings is that you get to see the box, and you get to see the experience, and the producer, the publisher, gets to see it as well. And other people who are considering doing Kickstarters and the like, or considering backing a Kickstarter, but they live in some out-of-the-way place like I do, from the perspective of where these things are made. if they're curious, should I, shouldn't I? So you'll notice that there's a lot of red tape on this box, right? You're noticing the red tape? Okay, so the red tape is from Korean Customs Department. Sometimes the tape is yellow and sometimes the tape is red. There's no other difference on the tape to indicate why someone might use yellow and why someone might use red. In fact, there may not be any particular reason except in a particular month they ordered yellow, so they used yellow, and then another particular month they ordered red, so they used red. Okay. So I received a notification from FedEx. This was sent to me. I'm in the rest of the world zone, so it's coming from wherever to South Korea, being delivered by FedEx. So I get the usual contact message from FedEx, which is, we need you to follow this link to our web service and fill in all of this information that we already know to make sure, I guess, that I know it, and to, further confirm that I'm willing to be a responsible, resident of this nation and pay whatever I might owe. Right? It is a little frustrating to have to jump through a certain number of hoops. They contact you at your phone number, they send you email at your email address, and they confirm in that way that they know your name, they know your phone number, they know your email address, and then they'll turn around and ask you for your name, your phone number, your email address, and other identifying information that they already have from the documentation. Then they'll ask you what it is that you ordered and where you ordered it from, which of course is printed on the documentation that not only do they have on the package itself, but they have sent to you so you can send it back to them. I'm sure there's a reason for all of this, and I'm sure it combats some serious mail fraud or something, but it can be a little annoying. So FedEx is always fast, always efficient, and always apologetic when you have to call them when their online web service doesn't actually work. Now, for example, living here in Korea, there is a very large social networking system that everybody uses. Most finances run through it, and, automatic payments, and you wouldn't believe what this singular app might handle. And so FedEx would most like you to respond in that way. Here's the message using this common means. Click this link to fill in all this information. And the first message you get is that our service is not compatible with that service. It is, actually, but the warning message pops up and tells you that, well, actually, you can't do that this way. You have to call us. And then you call them like, why did you call us? I don't call them anymore. I just go ahead and fill it out. And within 2 days, I had the package. However, despite there being nothing in here, nothing on the manifest to indicate that it should be searched, it was searched. I've had this happen numerous times in the decades that I've lived here, so I wasn't particularly surprised, except every once in a while, Customs will take it upon themselves in pursuit of something to destroy your item. So that's the other reason for the video. Did they or did they not destroy the items in the box? Who knows? Let's find out together. So the box has the appearance of having been crushed. It also, if you'll notice, has a raised section, right? So there is an object in here which is bulging the rest of the package. So who knows what condition this was in when it reached Customs, and may even have been that Customs didn't search it at all, that it had burst open in transit, and they were kind enough to seal it up for me. I'll never know because they don't explain, even when you go talk to them, which I have done. So we have the Customs tape, and then over that we have clear packing tape. So the entire package is now pretty much covered in packing tape on this side and in strips on the other. So we're going to take, I guess we can say, we're going to take a stab at opening it, right? All right. Inside, underneath the tape is, yay, more box. So that's good. And let's see if we cut down this way a little bit. Some of you may be wondering if there are dogs present. There are dogs present. I don't know if they're going to appear or not. They seem quite tired. All right, so the thing that was causing the bulge is a deck of cards. You'll note that it says that they are weapon cards. We'll be taking a look at those off to the side. All right. They were not inside the bubble wrap. They are just sitting on top. How many cards? Tell you later. Ooh, there's more at the bottom of the box. So these items I've just pulled out. We have bubble wrap, which has an enclosure, which, is of course opened, but the books didn't really slide out of it. So everything's fine there. Then we have a loose piece of cardboard. And we have these. It's going to be very difficult for me to use these, which always makes me laugh, but I wanted them anyway. These are, part of the game. These are blueprint news or BPNs. You use these to offer missions to the player characters. And it's kind of fun to be able to provide a physical item, because that's how it happens in the game, through some kind of strange fax machine technology of the far future yet distant past. These things are printed out and people compete for them. All right, so the last items. Well, I did get a notice from Customs telling me that somebody looked inside my package. If there's any problems, I know who to contact. Okay. I got the blue and the red BPN coins. There are other colors of BPN coins. These are the ones that I was interested in and could afford. And it was just it was a fun thing to do. Not required for the game at all, but of course there are things you can do with them in the game to make that more fun. So we have a tear-off pad of mission forms. We have a deck of weapon cards to make dealing with that particular aspect of bookkeeping easier. I kind of like gear cards and weapon cards. We have these mostly for fun and decoration, but also other reasons. And we have books. Let's not forget the books. Are we here for the books after all? Okay. So the last item to be included is this. This was an add-on that I did. Love this cover. I also have this as a all rolled up dice tray. This is progress reports 0 to 5. These are normally PDF items. Here they are done as nice thin hardcover. So that's very cool. So a source book for SLA Industries 2nd edition, all in one place. Nice. And the Operative Dossier. You may be noticing, right, a certain aesthetic to the art. That's one of the things that you get from a company like this, right, where one of the founders, one of the primary movers and shakers, is one of the primary artists. I'm just laughing at the information that's in here. All right. Again, this will be shown on your screen rather than you having to deal with the glare of my overhead lighting. But this is things like sponsorships and more interesting character sheets. Certificate of personal incorporation. Yeah, awesome. I get a kick out of stuff like that, especially when a campaign starts to take off and you can tease people with the next step. If you can raise your security clearance a little bit higher. It's not like your level, it's your degree of recognized success within the organization, right? You can get your SCL just a little bit higher. Maybe you could, if you can raise this much in credits, you might be able to afford someone who can, negotiate this contract or that contract. So it's a little bit of fun. The Operatives Handbook. Whoa. Slender volume. And the main thing that the Kickstarter was about, it's called Threat Analysis 2. Up above me is Threat Analysis 1. Threat Analysis 2, Cult, right? So this is expanding, the mysteries, the lore, the weirdness of the setting another step forward. Over the decades of the game's existence, there have been ideas put forward about what's really going on. And there's a lot of different structures in the game, different relationships in the game, different locations in the game where that question carries interesting connotations, a different kind of weight, like what's going on with SLA Industries itself. What are they really up to? Are they up to something even more nefarious than we think they are? What's going on with this corporation versus that corporation? What's going on between these different factions? Is reality really what we think it is? And are the things that people think are happening to them actually happening to them? And under the weight of this kind of monolithic, horrific, multi-layered, largely underground society, buried under endless urban expansion, are the social pressures that are wearing and tearing at people, as the corruption of this kind of society that are wearing and tearing at people. What is it making them do? To that, you get a product like this. Now, often I prefer to do this kind of thinking about a setting myself, but from the beginning of SLA Industries, I got it long, long ago when it was new, and it's stuck with me ever since. From that beginning point, I have been impressed with the imaginations and the ability to describe and imply the depth of those imaginations in the game line. And so it was something that I wanted to support. Right. So as I've been talking, these things have been flickering by on the screen, and you've been able to get a glimpse inside them. For more on SLA Industries, check out Nightfall Games. A lot of really cool stuff. If you're a Savage Worlds fan, keep an eye on when all of this gets translated into that system for you. If you're into the Merkberg games, there's already an expansion there for you. I don't know. I think you should go with this one. Anyway, until the next time. You guys going to join me or what? Huh? You are? Are you going to say hi to the people? You are not going to say hi to the people. Okay. Get down with him. Are you going to say hi to the people? Okay. You're briefly going to say hi to the people. Trace, you didn't want to be involved in the unboxing? She's not feeling great, but she's getting a little better. So anyway, until the next time, take care.